And welcome back to the Cost of Amnesty. Now, earlier we talked about the threat of terrorists potentially infiltrating the country across our porous borders. Now, sadly, that's not the only way they could enter the U.S. to harm Americans, and nobody knows that more than Rosemary Cain, whose son George was a New York City firefighter. He was killed on September the 11th. Let's take a look.
And he was leaving to go back to the city. He had to go to work. He had a blue truck, a pickup truck, and I can still see the truck going down the road, and that was the last time I saw him. They knew what they were getting into that morning, and when they were in the Marriott Hotel, they were evacuating some of the guests. Unfortunately, when the North Tower came down, it took out one part of it, and when the South Tower came down, it took out the other part of it, so the building was totally obliterated. And any time that I was there and I'd see a remains, I would just, oh, please, God, let it be George. Please, God, let it be George. But that, to me, is my miracle. I thank God every day that we had recovery, and we were able to lay him to rest.
When I came in here, the first thing you asked me was, well, what made you call me?
Yeah.
I often speak about how I feel that members of the military, people like your son, police officers, Border Patrol agents, those people who are sacrificing their lives in one way or another, through death or not, my father being one of them, you know, he's a Marine, that every time that we let another person just skate on through the border and God knows where they're going, that we're disrespecting those people in a way that people don't really comprehend.
If you go past any national cemetery, but you just see the rows and the rows and the rows, and the price that has been paid, the sacrifices and the blood that has been spilled to make this country great, and now it's being chipped away. Our economy is being chipped away, our safety, our security. Kids can't even go out and play in the streets anymore. And I see on the television, and they're taking videos of all these people sneaking across the borders. And I say to myself, why? What's wrong with us? Did they all die in vain? Oh, I'm his mother. I don't want him to be forgotten.
This memorial forces us to remember, but we don't need any more memorials. This is enough.
We owe it to them. People can't forget September 11th. That's the whole thing. You become complacent, and it's going to happen again. Do you want to be walking in my shoes in 2 years or in 5 years? We have people that hate us, and they want to murder Americans. And to see people becoming indifferent to prosecuting or to national security, because it didn't happen to them, they don't understand it, and they just don't get it, and they want to forget about it because it's unpleasant. Of course, it's unpleasant.
And Rosemary Cain joins us along with Dennis Michael Lynch. First of all, I'm very sorry. You said there, it's going to happen again. You want to walk in my shoes?
Right.
No. And you see this vulnerability we have. How do you respond to somebody who's been through what you've been through?
I am so disappointed. I'm furious. I hold accountable the people that are passing this bill, because they are going to be responsible for the lives of people that are going to be lost the next time it happens. If they don't secure our borders, we're all a bunch of sitting ducks. And for them to sit there, and their position in Washington is to do the will of the people. I don't see anybody in Washington doing the will of the people anymore.
You know, it's such a vulnerability, but I actually agree with both of you that it's inevitable at this point because it's such a huge vulnerability. Everyone said, well, you're talking about this from a political point of view. I'm talking about this from a national security point of view, so that this doesn't happen to mothers and fathers or kids that lose their moms and dads.
Right. The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch. He left his wife and his children, and he got in a car and he drove down to the Texas border and he put himself in harm's way. Why aren't the people in Washington putting themselves in harm's way? Why aren't they walking the walk as well as talking the talk?
It's easy for them to make that decision. It seems basic, doesn't it, especially if we're going to spy on fellow Americans in the name of Homeland Security, that we would at least first secure the border, knowing what we know and what this film exposes?
Yeah. Sean, if I may say, America is at a point right now where it's going to learn all of its lessons the hard way. And we've said this a few times already. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And, you know, I want to say something about Rosemary. You know, we really throw around the word hero very loosely in this country. And this woman did the most bravest thing I've ever had anybody do in front of me. After I interviewed her, she went into her room and brought out this cross that is made from the steel of the Trade Center that was given to her. And she came and gave it to me and said, 3,000 angels have my back. This is the only second time I've ever met this woman. I love her. And you know what? The people out there who feel as if, the Americans who feel as if they've been forgotten, I'm not forgetting them. I know you're not forgetting.
I have in my office, it's a little bit bigger than that, but I have the same thing made out of the steel.
This goes with me wherever I go.
Oh.
I don't want my son's death to be in vain. I don't want all of the soldiers that have given their lives to make this country the great country that it is. I live on Long Island, and it's not too far from Pine Lawn National Cemetery. And when I drive by there and I look at those lines of, as I said in the clip, that breaks my heart because I feel an obligation.
I've been there many
I feel an
times.
obligation to the 3,000 people that were murdered on September 11th. I want Mr. Obama to feel the same obligation.
Okay. Powerful message. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.